Okay, hello and welcome back. In this lesson, we're going to be talking about a div element. So what I want to do here is I have a bunch of code already and I just want to collapse it so it's a little more readable for me because this is getting fairly long. And get rid of that extra white space just because I like my code being tidy. And if we wanted to, we could like collapse just the I, just the B, just the paragraph. But in this lesson, let's go ahead and talk about div. Div is a dummy element. And it actually doesn't mean anything. So like how we said P stands for paragraph, B stands for bold, I stands for italic, div is just a divider. And you can actually see that the MDN reference here from VS Code says the div element has no special meaning at all. It represents its children. It can be used with class, lang, and title attributes to mark up semantics, comment, blah, blah, blah. That stuff's getting a little too advanced for us at the moment. But basically that first line that says the div element has no special meaning at all. That's important. It has no special meaning. Now, what we're going to talk about here is A, div has no special meaning. This has no special meaning. But let's also take a look at how it works side by side, because in this last lesson where we did bold, italics, and underline, we could use all three of these. And actually a better example is this one where we had a paragraph, but then we had bold, and that bold text was beside the regular text. And then we had italics, and that italicized text was right beside the normal text. And the underlined text, same thing over and over and over again. And this gets into this concept of block elements versus inline elements. So a div is a block element. And what I mean by that is if I just hit Command C or Control C, and then Command V or Control V, I just copied that whole line over. And this is a second line. So let's go ahead and save that, refresh our page here. And you can see down here, it just says, this has no special meaning. This is a second line. And if I do this, right click and inspect, when I hover over the element, you can actually see that that blue line that goes right across the entire page, that is a block element. So even though it's only actually needing the space from this has no special meaning, you can actually see that it's taking up the entire line. That's called a block element. And you're going to see these all the time because it's really good to know. The reason for that is because, for example, if this paragraph up here was not a block element, these two paragraphs would merge together and they wouldn't actually be paragraphs. It'd be one paragraph merged with the second paragraph to make one big one. That's not what we want all the time. And so the nice thing about this paragraph is also a block element, is it's going to take up the full width of your screen. It's going to take up as much real estate as it possibly can. So let's go back to our code and let's even try to put these side by side in our code. So it's opening one div and closing it, opening another div and closing it. Let's go ahead and save that, refresh, and we're going to see that nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. Literally nothing has changed. And that's again because these are block elements. So our browser said, okay, you have one element, it's closing, another element, it's closing. In the inspect tool, this is exactly what our browser sees. This has been fixed for us. So it's on two different lines. And again, they're both block elements. So they're going to take up as much possible space as they can, separated by the element itself. Now, this is a strange concept, but in the next lesson, we're going to talk about block elements versus inline elements and how you can use them sort of together and what the difference is.